AP photo. The Ministry for Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation has once again expressed its indignation at how the U.S. authorities handle Russian diplomatic facilities that had been closed in the United States in response to Russia's move to expel American diplomats from Russia. Maria Zakharova, the official spokesperson for the ministry, said that the latest move of the United States to remove Russian flags from the buildings of the Russian consulate in San Francisco and the trade mission in Washington was outrageous. According to her, the Americans act like invaders and rummage in consular archives. During a briefing on Thursday, October 12, Zakharova stated that the U.S. authorities committed another hostile act against Russian diplomatic premises in the United States. We regard the incident as an act of outrage upon a state symbol of the Russian Federation, and we have expressed our strong protest to the United States, she said. Of course, the Russian Federation has not given any consent for the flags to be removed, Zakharova said. Print version font size. Zakharova compared the actions of the American authorities committed at closed diplomatic facilities with occupation. This was done by the people who invaded the Russian territory without an invitation, broke the gates, the entrance doors, and have been doing there what they want since then, not even like raiders but rather like occupants, Zakharova said. According to Zakharova, not only have the Americans removed the flags from the diplomatic buildings, but they also examined the documents inside. In addition to the blatant attack on the flags, the Americans do not conceal the fact that they have also rummaged through the documents in the office of the Consulate General in San Francisco, even though consular archives shall be considered inviolable in accordance with the Bilateral Consular Convention. They shall be inviolable always and everywhere, even if a consular institution stops working, the official representative for the Russian Ministry for Foreign Affairs said. According to Zakharova, the statement from the U.S. State Department which said that no one deprived Russia of the rights for those buildings was outright hypocrisy. Russian employees are not allowed there. During the recent months, Russian representatives have been denied access to 5 objects of the Russian diplomatic property in the United States. We have never had anything like this in the history of the U.S.-Russian relationship, Maria Zakharova concluded. Earlier, representatives for the U.S. State Department confirmed that the flags of the Russian Federation had indeed been removed from the building of the Russian Consulate General in San Francisco. According to State Department representatives, the flags were lowered with due respect to be kept safely in the building. In addition, U.S. officials said that the U.S. State Department ensures the safety of the Russian diplomatic property and keeps it in order accordingly. Earlier, the Russian side expressed serious concern and indignation about the removal of the Russian flags from the building of the office of the Consulate General in San Francisco, as well as from the Russian trade mission in Washington. Russia demanded the flags be returned in place immediately. On October 2, representatives of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation reported that the Americans had fully occupied the premises of the Russian Consulate General in San Francisco, including the residence of the Consul General. Entrance doors to the buildings were broken, while the buildings themselves were searched. U.S. State Department officials, in turn, said that employees of the department made the round of the Russian premises after all diplomats had left them. Nevertheless, the buildings in question still remain the property of Russia, except for the office of the trade mission, which Russia was renting. However, the Diplomatic Security Service of the U.S. State Department and its Foreign Missions Department have taken the objects of the Russian diplomatic mission under control. Pravda. Ru. Page 2. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, when meeting his Turkish counterpart Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Kiev, offered Turkey to join the group of friends for the deoccupation of the Crimea. Erdogan responded that Turkey still supports the territorial integrity of Ukraine and will not recognize Crimea's reunification with Russia. We have not recognized and will not recognize the illegal annexation of the Crimea, Turkish President Erdogan stated. The relationship between Russia and Turkey has been quite volatile lately. Despite regular declarations from Putin and Erdogan about the need to strengthen and expand the Russian-Turkish cooperation, Ankara has unexpectedly set new rules to import agricultural products from Russia to Turkey. From now on, Russian exporters will have to obtain special permits at the Turkish trade mission or diplomatic departments to be able to export their products to Turkey. Experts found the move as a response to Russia's recent decision to import vegetables only from 9 Turkish companies, although Ankara denies such allegations. To crown it all, Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu stated on October 9 that Ankara may rethink the contract for the purchase of S-400 anti-aircraft missile system from Russia. According to the minister, the contract will materialize only if Russia opens joint production of these complexes in Turkey. Print version font size. If Russia is negative about this, we may conclude an agreement with another country, the diplomat unequivocally stated. It is worthy of note that Turkey has already made an advance payment under the agreement. Pravda. RU requested an expert opinion on the subject from Viktor Nadinrevsky, Ph.D. in philosophy, senior researcher at the Institute of World Economy and International Relations of the Russian Academy of Sciences. According to the expert, the restoration of the Russian-Turkish relationship has not been completed. The process goes with difficulties, such as the import of Turkish goods to Russia, which is not very important for Russia, but it is of paramount importance for Ankara. Turkey continues making attempts to put pressure on Russia in a hope to resolve the issue once and for all. Russia still preserves unilateral restrictions against Turkey, and the matter is not about the imports of Turkish tomatoes only. Turkey introduced a visa-free regime for Russian tourists, but has not received a symmetrical response. The Russian Federation only facilitated the visa regime for Turkish businessmen and builders. There are fears in Russia that Turkey remains a transit territory for Islamists, because most of them got to Syria and Iraq via Turkey, the expert said. As for the question of the joint production of S-400 systems, Turkey has raised it from the start, and this is their standard requirement for such purchases. Much will depend on the volume of contracts, and whether it is going to be profitable enough for Russia. If we are going to create joint ventures, one has to regulate the process of how those products are going to be sold and whether Russia will have to issue special permits or Turkey will be able to sell the products of Russian-Turkish joint ventures independently. Pravda. RU read article on the Russian version of Pravda. RU.